D'Angelo Russell is playing some of the best ball of his career, yet he's dropping cryptic quotes about his head coach Darvin Ham. IT made his return to the NBA G League, being influenced to do so by Danny Ainge, his former GM in Boston. DeMar DeRozan is still getting busy in Chicago despite an underwhelming season as a team, and a lot more has gone down in the past 24 hours around the association, so let's lace him up. Despite D'Lo playing some of the best basketball, arguably of his career over the past 2 months, since January 13, averaging 22 points a game, 6.5 assists a night on over 47% from the field and over 45 from deep, a really interesting quote dropped from the man himself in an interview with ESPN's David Meneman, a Lakers team reporter, where he seemed to put the blame on their head coach Darvin Ham not bothering to try and foster a relationship with him after he was traded there mid-season, citing Dennis Schroeder was already Ham's go-to favorite guard, saying, quote, about Schroeder, his relationship with Darvin is the reason I couldn't have a relationship with Darvin. When I was struggling, I would have been able to come to the coach and say, bro, this is what we should do. Like, I can help you. Instead, there was no dialogue. I just accepted it. And then he just fired a complete stray at Dennis, adding, and we got swept, and I'm here and he's not, and I like our chances. Damn. And sadly though for Russell, right after this article dropped last night, he put up a stinker on the road in Sacramento. Just 2 for 9 shooting, a measly 6 points, and had LeBron postgame posted this on his IG story, staying up late to clear his head driving on the highway at like 1 a.m. This is really strange to me though. We never see a player talk this way about their current head coach. But Darvin did take accountability for how D'Lo did feel about the situation coming in last season, saying, quote, but it's not so much a dialogue as it is the access to have it, and I can't stress that enough. I can go to him and let him know how I feel and meet him halfway, or tell him I need him to come over more to my way, or it can be him telling me how I need to trust him more and come over more to his way. And it's a workable relationship. All right, let's transition. Isaiah Thomas has returned to the G League in hopes to sign with a playoff team before the postseason. Now, you might be asking, oh, well, wasn't the deadline to play in the playoffs March 1st for free agents? No, that's for buyout candidates. So, for example, Otto Porter had to sign with the team by March 1st if he had desired to play for a playoff team. For IT or any player who's been a free agent for the entire season, they have until the last day of the regular season, which this year is April 14th. But for Thomas, that isn't the end-all be-all. He said he's just appreciative to be on the hardwood again after a near 2-year absence of pro basketball, saying, quote, I'm blessed, man. I had a few tough years where sometimes you just feel like quitting because it's too much, but I always say that's the easy thing to do. I'm back playing basketball, I'm back healthy. It's just a super cool feeling because I never thought I would be able to play with no pain and no more. And who facilitated this move for IT to the Jazz's G League affiliate Salt Lake City Stars? Former Celtics president of basketball operations and now current Jazz executive Danny Ainge. Thomas said that he needed to approach G League teams himself and that the interest wasn't exactly so strong, and so when he presumably hit up Ainge, Danny was able to make it happen and get him back to playing pro hoops. Now, this isn't IT's first go-around in the G. He actually might be the GOAT of the league despite only appearing in 6 games. In his first 3-game stint with the Nuggets G League affiliate, the Grand Rapids Gold, Isaiah averaged over 41 points a game. That allowed him to get the call up to the NBA with the Lakers that season, where he also signed 10 days with the Mavs and Hornets, that being in 2022. And while that's no guarantee this time around, the Boston Celtics might be a potential landing spot. Joe Mazzulla, Celtics head coach, was in attendance to watch IT in Salt Lake City's game versus the Milwaukee Heat. And now Mazzulla's brother is on the Jazz's G League coaching staff, but IT did cook up an impressive 34-point performance for Joe to watch before the Celtics played the Jazz that same night in Utah. So definitely pulling for IT, but even if he doesn't get the NBA opportunity, great to see him back on the hardwood. Shifting gears, let's get to the game of the night last night. Bulls Pacers at Indy. Let's start here, 125. The ball finds Turner, who connects for the triple here to tie the game up. Next trip down, following a stop, minutes ago. How about Miles again? Knocks down back-to-back triples. The Pacers go up 3. Bulls need a response here. Luckily for them though, DeMar's at their backs. He's able to get the switch on a Nembhard, and he's just too small. This is food right here. Next trip down for the Pacers. Nembhard fires from way downtown, a little short, but the ball was last touched by Chicago, so they keep it. Halliburton gets trapped atop the key, swings it to Nembhard for another triple. No good though. Kobe White secures a tip-out board in transition, but gets swatted by Pascal Siakam. It forces Chicago to foul, where Aaron Nesmith goes to the line, sinks both right here. Then Nesmith gets the intentional foul off on DeMar on the other end to prevent a shot attempt. It leaves DeMar at the line for 2 free throws. He makes the first, but misses the second. Thankfully, it goes off Obi Toppin's fingertips. And then 2 seconds left, DeMar for the tie. You fucking bet. DeMar delivers for his 37th points of the night. And in OT, DeMar picked up right where he left off, 9 points in the overtime period for DeRozan. And how about the Bulls? 27-20 in their last 47 since their 5-14 start. That's tied for the 4th best record in the East, only trailing Milwaukee, Boston, and Cleveland. Moving on to some more dominant play, DominAyton. DeAndre Ayton, he's been a monster since the All-Star break. Granted, it's only been 6 games, but in those 6, his averaging over 24 points per game and over 15 rebounds. And Ayton said, quote, following a light 33-point 19-board outing in the Blazers win over the Hawks, "I'm trying to bust that ass." That's a crazy quote, but shout out to DA. Especially since D-Book just fired another straight at him on JJ Redick's podcast, saying this when asked, what's the difference between playing with the new big man Yusuf Nurkic and other bigs he's played with in the past?
Nurkic is the same way.
Yeah.
To me, he's like super underrated. What has he done just for this team? Because you obviously played with other guys. I think he's different than the bigs you played with.
100%. Just the IQ. Just having basketball conversations. And
speaking of big men, Daniel Gafford is approaching Wilt Chamberlain's record for the most consecutive field goals made in league history. Wilt's record is 35 straight made baskets. Right now, Gafford is at 33 following a 5-for-5 performance on the field yesterday. And when you watch these baskets, you realize just how good of a playmaker Luka Doncic is. I mean, this, no offense, says way more about Luka than it does Daniel Gafford. Of the 33 field goals, 17 of them have been dunks, 15 have been layups, with one of them being a tip-in. No baskets made outside of probably 3 feet. And lastly, to end things off, we had a finals rematch last night in South Florida. Nuggets and Heat squaring off for the second time in 3 weeks. Let's pick it up here late first quarter, and Jokic on the block, spin move, no problem. Nuggets already go up double digits with that one. Miami would keep it close. Bam going to work here. This makes it a 3-point game. Then Jimmy fouls it up here to cut it to 1. And whole third quarter, this one stays back and forth. This Thomas Bryant basket gives Miami a 4-point lead, but they go totally cold in the fourth, put up just 17 points, and the champs dominate the regular season rematch, sweep the season series, as Denver takes over the #1 seed in the West, while Miami drops their 4th straight and set a game back of the 6th seed. They're currently the 8th seed once again.